Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Prosecutor said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
And FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers.
And welcome to another episode of Lords of War and the News Brief. Today is Friday, June 20th, and it is 1 p.m. I am joined with my co-host, Barry. Barry, what's up?
Greetings, everyone. How are you? And good afternoon.
Yeah, we started a little late today.
Yeah, I was going to say morning, but we fucked that one up.
Yeah, we're trying to sign on, but we had an interesting conversation. I'm not going to say with who because they're at risk right now. I'm gonna touch on some of that later on, not specifically who was here with us today, but what the situation was. There's a couple news stories that we wanted to touch on today. Good afternoon, Jose. Somebody just asked how we could get you guys a shout out. We are going to start doing what's it called? Not subscriptions. What the fuck am I looking for? Sponsorships. We're going to start doing sponsorships on the show. I think I'm going to be announcing that next week. And then there's certain people, like I see that you say that you're a J6er, that will promote your business right on our Warboy Studios account and right here on our show. For that, actually, shameless plug, you could actually support me. I'm not going to ask you for donations, guys. You could support me by going to the www.1776.shop and purchasing there. It's kind of like an Amazon for conservative merchandise. And Barry, you have something that you guys are doing too, right?
What with We the J6ers?
Yeah.
As far as merchandise, well, as far
not merchandise.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We the J6ers.com. We will promote anybody, any J6er that has a business or anything they want to talk about. We will promote anything. So if you go over to X or Facebook and look up We the J6ers at WeTheJ6ers.com on Facebook and send us a DM. And if you're a J6er out there with a business or anything you got going on whatsoever, we will help promote you free of charge. So absolutely.
Fuck yeah. All right. So let's jump in a little bit of this. Barry, did you want to lead with something? Because I got a couple things.
The only thing that comes up to me is the Minnesota stuff. So I mean, you let me know if that fits in now.
Yeah.
Fits in later.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it now. Actually, let me fix this camera for you. Go ahead.
Story just gets weirder and weirder as the days go on. I mean, I'm showing up late to the game because I'm looking into it now as we speak. I mean, the guy's wife was stopped 85 miles from the crime scene with a gun, ammunition, passports, 10 grand in cash. There's text messages from him to her that kind of lead one to believe that there was some kind of organized plan. The fact that this guy was an evangelical preacher that did travel around a lot of the world preaching Christianity. He was very vocal about being a pro-lifer. But then the plot thickens. This guy the unfortunate woman that he unalived was the only Democrat to cross party lines.
Wait, so hold on before you say that, because I've noticed that you use unalive on it.
Yeah.
And I know that there's like some type of restriction on Twitter or whatnot when it comes to like saying certain things, but you can't mention the K word.
From what I'm taking, because we're experimenting with YouTube and actually trying to see if our First Amendment right still matters there. I do know, I'm playing by their rules to see if, it just not.
So it's more for YouTube, not really X.
Yeah, not for X. I mean, even though, X is the only one still suspending J6ers while YouTube and Facebook are not. For that, never saw that coming. Elon. I'm one of those idiots that believe that Elon's behind a desk just controlling X at, restoring and banning counts at the simple request of a tweet. So Elon. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing it. I want to see how far we can get. We know eventually we're going to be banned, especially because I have videos with you up there, and I don't think YouTube really appreciates the blackface of white supremacy.
Absolutely not.
So
racist.
But we are following the rules. We're trying to follow the rules just to see how much of a contradicting trash basket still run the Silicon Valley office over there.
Can you do me a favor, because it's kind of bugging me on the shot?
Sure.
You're covering well, it's actually me. The hat over there, it's covering Emperor Trump's face. Not that one. No. Actually, I want to talk about that other hat.
That's a great hat, man.
Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I've cut you off a couple times.
Well, no, that's okay. I'm used to it. I do want to say, all hail the king, because I didn't notice that was covering his face. So just want to Emperor Trump, King Emperor Trump.
Yeah. They said no kings. They didn't say shit about emperors.
They did not. Or Pharaoh. Can we call him Pharaoh Trump? I'm okay with Pharaoh.
Oh shit. Actually, that should be a sign. We're going to talk about the 4th of July. The No Kings protest, 4th of July. I thought it was such a great idea that they're going to do it again. But sorry, I cut you off again. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I'm used to it. But that's where we're at basically right now with this story. It's getting weirder and weirder. There are things that support the fact that this guy could be a right-wing lunatic. There are a lot of things that support that this guy could be a left-wing lunatic. Either way, he was affiliated with the Tim Walz administration. And 1 week prior to this event happening, the woman that was unalived on YouTube was the only Democrat to vote across party lines in Minnesota to say that illegals should not get free taxpayer health care, essentially.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I mean, it's just weird. And also the thing that strikes me is this individual, the alleged assassin, he claims in a lot of videos that he traveled to Gaza, Pakistan, in these Middle Eastern countries to specifically talk to radical Islamists about Christianity and trying to convert them. I'm no, religious geopolitical expert, but I'm assuming if you go to Gaza trying to preach Christianity, they're going to behead you, rape you, murder you, throw you off a roof. Oh, I just screwed it up. Damn it. So that's going to be the case. And I don't think he could go there. However, his cell phone data does show that he was in these areas. So I mean, if you're anything like me, my cell phone just gets up in the morning and takes off and goes to the fucking Congo by itself all the time. So maybe that's his situation. But nonetheless, he has been around the world recently in some very hostile environments. And the story just gets weirder and weirder. I wish we could get some definitive information, but considering we're still trying to find out who that bag of Hunter Biden's coke belonged to and they found in the White House, don't think we're going to get there soon.
Yeah. And I've said it before, like this story has like so many weird twists and turns that it's hard to pinpoint what's going on with it and who this guy is. And I think that I think with time we're going to tell who this guy is. Specifically, the thing that bugs me is the manifesto. They have the manifesto, and they said, "Oh, there's nothing in it. There's nothing important in it." Why not show it? If there's nothing in it, then just fucking like put it out and just kind of see. I don't know if it's that they're afraid of like copycats or whatever. But it's such a strange story that to get a copycat to do this shit is pretty hard. It's not something, and I think it's more the public interest is higher than the risk of somebody copying it. You know,
Oh yeah.
I I'd obviously I'm a free speech absolutist, right? So, like example that the I forgot what it's called, not the Churchill, Churchland shit that happened in New Zealand where that guy went into the mosque and
Mhm.
went ham.
Yes, wasn't he like a Swedish dude or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know they banned anybody, like you could get charged for just sharing the video, you know, which is strange. But regardless of the fact, like that one, I could kind of understand the emotional pull to it. I can't understand the emotional pull on this one. You know, I still think anything should be free as long as um, you're not. There's not a direct threat of violence to a person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand that there is some information that should be classified to further advance the safety of the American people. Okay. With that aside, when did when did we get to this place in our society where it has just become normal for us to accept the fact that our fucking government is continuously hiding and lying to us as their standard? It's let's lie and hide first, then tell the truth if we even get to that point later. And again, I'm separating classified information that that the public safety would not benefit from knowing. But we're talking about every fucking thing now. I mean, some lunatic tried to assassinate our fucking president, bro. And the FBI, we know that Secret Service, along with the FBI, just swept it under the rug. Almost, I mean, I'm not using that term lightly. They deemed that there was a slant on the roof. We know better than that. They lied to our face. We accepted it. They closed the scene down and didn't allow any protection. They told officers in a certain area that day to stand down. We're not asking these questions. We're just allowing them, like they have so many times, to sweep this shit under the rug and blatantly lie to our face, in our face. And I know I'm getting sick of fucking seeing it. And I just, I'm one guy. A million whispers make a mighty roar, but where are these whispers at? I'm tired of being so complacent with this.
Which is going to go into the next segment of the show and the next topic of the show, which is the FBI and like what we've been seeing from Cash Bongino. I just made that one name. From
it should be
Cash Patel and Dan Bongino. On this show, I remember I gave like a deadline where my support for them ends, and I think I said August 3rd, which is about a month away. But I'm inching towards like kind of axing that August 3rd date because of just some recent news that I found out about. My friend Brianna Morello actually posted this a little while ago, and here we go. I'm going to read it. FBI whistleblowers Garrett O'Boyle and Steve Friend were set to make their return to work for the federal government, but that suddenly has changed. After the news broke on my show, their return to the government was shut down. Sources close to the incident are saying this was Director Patel's decision. If true, did we just abandon our allies? My answer, never. And I'm not going to play the clip for 8 minutes, but the scoop is that these and their little group name is like the Suspendables, right? So it's a whole bunch of FBI agents that became whistleblowers over the course of the Biden administration, and they're actually suspended. They're not fired, so it's easy to just just bring them back in. We've seen it. I've been messaging back and forth since I came back on Twitter to with Kyle Seraphin, another whistleblower. And what we're seeing, they were very pro. Dan Bongino himself on his show had said that these guys should get reinstated. He praised them. He brought them on the show. And now we're, 3 months into the Cash Bongino FBI, and they haven't been brought in. And then just recently today, as of this morning, we find out that they have no intentions of bringing them back in. We haven't seen these major arrests. We've seen them appoint Steve Jensen to lead the FBI Washington field office. For those that don't know, Steve Jensen was one of the main FBI agents, lead FBI agents in the Capitol Siege Division of the FBI and the DOJ. They need to put the pedal to the metal, and we're just not seeing it. So I did put that August 3rd date, but like right now, like what they're going into negative territory. It's not like the wait, hurry up and wait, bro. It's like they're making these decisions consciously not to bring these people back, and they're running this PR campaign. And I saw Cash on the Joe Rogan show the other day, and he's talking about fentanyl, and he's got a point about all of that. And I'm sure, like most agencies, like they're doing the basic amount of work. I don't see them doing the actual work that we put them in there for, because regardless of their appointment by the president, we put the president in and we championed Kash Patel. I remember I was in prison, and when they said that they're going to nominate Kash Patel as the director of FBI, like I went crazy. I'm like, hell yeah, this is a perfect person. Somebody that's advocated for the J6ers, for the hostages, and somebody that's that looks like they're going to do. And then they said, oh, Dan Bongino is going to be deputy director. I'm like, holy fuck, this is like the dream team. Donald Trump is the Nick Fury of politics right now, because he's putting together like the Avengers here, what essentially is the Avengers of administration picks. And we've seen nothing. We've seen absolutely nothing come from some of these appointees. And then not only have we not seen nothing, we see it charting into negative territory by things like this. Cal Seraphin and the rest of these whistleblowers, Steve Friend, and Garrett O'Boyle, these people should have been brought back on like day one of the administration.
100%. Excuse me. With Steve Friend and Kyle Seraphin, there was a major difference between the oath that Kyle Seraphin, Steve Friend took versus the oath that the rest of their FBI co-workers took. And that it's not anything that was in the language or the words or the recitement of that oath. It's that Steve Friend and Kyle Seraphin actually decided to fucking honor it. And as a J6er myself, someone that spent 3 years in federal prison, someone that had the FBI Miami field office create a lie about me that I threatened an FBI agent, it spun a narrative about me being a domestic terrorist and then attacking my fiance and trying to go after her and intimidate her. Fuck the FBI. Okay. Now, I don't wish anybody any ill will. Okay. But the reality of it is these two brave men went against the grain so fucking hard and put everything on the line to do so. And Bongino and Kash Patel know that. So, okay, if you're not going to reinstate them, then they need to be seriously compensated, because they don't deserve to be suspended. They are protected under constitutional law with whistleblower protection. They should not have to be going through what they're going through.
And what bothers me here is that they're running like this PR campaign, because obviously both of them have been spokespeople, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously one has a podcast, and I'm sick of hearing that, oh, well, Dan Bongino, and funny, Miss Vixen over here has a name, Bonholio.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bonholio, which is pretty good. Bonholio gave up like this multi-million-dollar job to join the FBI and fix America. Well, then he's an idiot, because he should have just kept the fucking $1 million job.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't done shit. Okay. And this is what's crazy. If let's get in our time machine, in our War Boys Studios time machine, the DeLorean, and let's move forward to January 20th of 2029, when whatever new administration comes in. If it's Democrats, obviously they stole it. Like, will he be able to go back to having an audience, like a MAGA audience? Will we be happy with a job that Kash and Bongino have done? Can they live a public life after this? And what's going to dictate their ability to do so, to go back and live this luxurious lifestyle of just podcasting? I mean, I wish we were making money on this motherfucker right here doing this. I'm not actually going broke by fucking.
I'm currently losing money right now.
So Like, can they go back to that life? And the answer right now, presently, is no. They will not have an audience if they continue on this path of what they've done to the FBI, because all I've seen is them expand the swamp. You know, we had this promise, which I'm not naive. They had this promise that they're going to turn the FBI, the Hoover building in Washington, into a museum. I'm not stupid. I know what that means. You know, I know that the chances of actually turning into a museum is very low, right? But I know what that means. It's kind of like, what we're going to do is we're going to dismantle this system, starting with the steeple of this corrupt agency that Hoover built.
It'll be a thing of the past, is what they're saying.
Exactly. And we haven't seen that. There's no fucking museum. As a matter of fact, they've included new exhibits in this museum called the FBI, and it's absolute dog shit. They're putting pictures of dog shit in a museum.
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's to the point, I think, that I can't sit here and pretend to know the shit that's going on behind closed doors. The FBI has been an egregiously corrupt organization for a long time now. The task that anybody would have, whether it's Cash or Bongino or whoever that might be, is got to be so substantial. At the same time, I believe the American people are so sick and tired of taking the bait, listening to you, trusting you, and believing you, sending you to office, supporting your appointees, whatever the case may be in the process, only to be let down and lied to. So don't expect us to hold the line and think that, okay, you're going to be honest with us when your behavior is indicating that you're not. And we've been let down so many fucking times before. So do we wait? I don't know. I mean, I think it's time to amplify our voices and demand some change, because what the FBI has been allowed to come is, it's fucked up. I wish I had some more articulate words to say, but I don't. They're just fucked up.
Well, that's okay. So we've talked about a lot of things, and I think the president actually thought that these people were going to do his job. So I'm curious to where Trump's position on this, his real position, because obviously, if you probably ask him and somebody said, if you ask him in public, he's going to support these guys because he appointed them. And,
sure.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
He's supposed to do that, right?
He's supposed to do that. But internally, what does Trump think about these people like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel? But I don't want to talk about just the bad ones, right? Because then I've been accused of being anti-MAGA because I'm not for the appointees.
It wouldn't matter what you did; you're going to be accused of something.
So, and I've said this before: my loyalty lies with the president, 100%. But that loyalty is not extended to their fucking appointees, right? So let's talk about the good appointees, and I'm going to get another story that Brianna broke today. She said several TSA employees have been fired for their roles in Quiet Sky's terror watch list. Detailed report coming soon. So, so for the people that don't know, do you know what the Quiet Skies is?
That would be the Quad S's thing. That's the thing that Tulsi Gabbard and her husband were inappropriately put on. And I'm really glad that you brought this up, because I wanted to get into this briefly about how our fight is not over. But continue. Yeah, it's the Quad S's. I mean, you guys are still going through it. It happened to Stuart Rhodes recently.
Well, no, I personally got removed on it back in, when was it that I flew? I think it was February, right? In January, when I got out of prison, I had to go through it because I had gotten out of prison the day after the inauguration. I had to jump on a flight and come back to Miami, and I actually got the brunt of the Quiet Skies program. And in case, just to explain to you what you go through, you go to the ticket booth. You can't get your ticket electronically. You have to go to the desk, which there's a long ass line. And that's the least of your worries. When you get there to the desk, they have to call DC headquarters for DHS and verify. And that takes about an hour. So it takes you an hour just to get your ticket. And again, that's not the worst part. So when you go through TSA, as soon as you put your ID in, there's this giant red light with a buzzer that goes bam, 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 and they have to call a supervisor, and they have to open a lane just for you. Nobody could go through that lane except you. So you go through the typical scanner, you go through the you put your bag through a scanner. You go through the scanner, and then they do a pat search, like a deep pat search, not just like the normal one. They put the gloves on, they touch your dick, they fucking put their hands in between your ass crack,
which is the good part.
Yeah,
That's the fun part.
Yeah, it is, especially for me.
Yeah.
I identify as a woman, so a woman can do it every time.
Every time.
I'm kidding.
They have to.
I would love to do that. But regardless of the fact, after they do that, they get you every single bag that you have, and then they break down on top of putting it through the machine, they break down the bag, and they'll get like your underwear, and they'll like go through it. You know what I'm saying? They go through every shirt, every underwear, every piece of
Melania knows what that's like.
Yeah. And then it doesn't end there. So then you finish with TSA, which that process takes like 45 minutes. You're like an hour and 45 minutes in. Then you get to your terminal. And God forbid that you have a connecting flight. When you get to your terminal, you'll notice about 10 minutes before the flight, like 30 TSA agents come in with a rolling metal detector, right? And then they randomly obviously choose you again. And then you go through the metal detector. They do the pat down again. And then they break your bags down, your carry-ons. They break your bags down. They go through everything, including the underwear, everything. And then if you have a connecting flight, that happens on your connecting flight. So this not to keep extending this shit, but regardless of the fact, this program shows you, the end of this program shows you what an amazing appointee we've had for our DHS secretary. I wasn't with her appointment. I was like, I don't know how I feel.
Yeah.
But like, she's actually one of the best ones.
Well, you're talking about Christy.
Well,
I'll tell you this right now. When the story broke, when she wrote I think it was her autobiography or biography came out, and she said that she had taken, there was a sick puppy or whatever, and she had to take it out back and mark it. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, how could she do that?" I'm like, you know what? That's my girl.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I got what she was trying to say. It's hard. I love dogs. Like, I'm not gonna tell the whole world what kind of dog I have, because I wouldn't want everyone to know that I have an 8-pound Chihuahua named Martini. So I'm gonna leave that out. But
it looks super gay.
It's super gay.
It's not like a cool looking Chihuahua.
First of all, and that's, to that point, I get hit on every fucking time I take that dog for a walk, and they seem like really nice guys. I just don't swing that way, so I ignore them. Nonetheless, the dog is a chick magnet. So anyway, I do love dogs, and I just I supported that. It takes guts to do that. It takes heart, and when we have somebody like Kristi Noem in the position she's in, you need somebody that's going to have to pull the trigger once in a while. Hopefully it's not a puppy, because there's plenty of shitbag people out there that should go before a puppy goes. But, I got it. So I like Kristi Noem a lot. But this Quiet Skies thing, Enrique, this is part of this leads back into the Patriot Act. Shameless plug that we, the J6ers.com, are trying to go after and expose and educate people on how bad it is. But this goes into it, and what was done to Tulsi Gabbard and her husband. This plight is not over for J6ers. There's still these secret lists for fuck J6ers, for Americans. There's these lists that exist that Homeland Security, because of the Patriot Act, can create behind closed doors and add Americans to at the whim and the stroke of a pen. And these lists should not be allowed to exist. And Tulsi Gabbard knows that, and Kristi Noem knows that. So Kash Patel should really be taking us seriously and making sure we were pardoned. Whether the left likes it or not, we were pardoned. So is there somebody guaranteeing that we and our families are taken off of these lists? And I'm glad to see the Quiet Skies end, but it's not the only one. Man.
It's not the only list.
It's not the only one.
Helena had a comment here that AJ's infant son was put on the quad S's. I don't know if they pat down the baby, but you make a good point with the dog situation. So if you were part of this Quiet Skies program and you did fly with dogs, like, does the dog get a cavity search too?
Well, I mean, I have a gay dog, so it might like it.
Yeah.
Joke's on them.
But yeah, no, it is crazy, because the first time I found out I was on Quiet Skies, right? And I didn't know it was called that. There's, as a matter of fact, there should be nothing of the government that's called quiet.
Yeah.
Let's just start with that. It should never be called quiet. But the first time I found out, I was flying. It was me and my chick were flying to a family trip in Colorado, a ski trip. And we're always the first ones to get there because I kind of want to ski alone in the first couple of days, and then the entire family and friends come, which is like 30 people. And then what you don't know is if you're flying with somebody that's in the Quiet Skies program, you're automatically in the Quiet Skies program and you get to it.
Oh
So-
shit, I did not know that.
Yeah. So when we had a returning flight that had a connector,
Nice.
and you know, I went up to the desk and I'm like, hey, the lady asked me, she's like, are you flying with anybody? It's like, no, it's just me and my wife on the way back. Cause I'm like, holy shit, there's 30 people and we're all on the same flight. I don't want to put them through that. So as I'm telling her that, you know, my sister comes up behind me. He's like, hey, mom's asking you for the number to this lady. And the lady's like, wait, you're flying with more people? I'm like, it's just me and her, and my family's with us, but we're on the same, you know, ticket or whatever. She's like, there's nobody in the same ticket. I was trying to like bullshit.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, bring how many people are you with? I'm like, you see that big ass group over there? That's who I'm with. So everybody got this treatment.
Yeah. You
You know?
basically got Kali Ocho Festival behind you.
Yeah, exactly. So I found it fucking hilarious after the fact, but everywhere I would fly, it would actually put us through the situation. And for the viewers out there, I'm actually curious because it's showing that I have like low internet connection. Are you guys seeing this blurry? Is it pixelated? Please let me know in the comments. But back to this Quiet Skies program, you know, we're talking about like some good appointees by the president. You know, Kristi Noem has been really good. Even though she spends probably a lot of time with makeup and hair, and she looks gorgeous.
She does.
She does, and she does Fox News interviews and stuff like that, which I'm fine with. Do all the Fox News interviews you want. Do all the interviews you want as long as you're doing your job.
Yeah.
And we see that from Cash and Bongino. Bongino as Patty calls him, and then Bungholio.
Oh yeah, that's
As,
a good one. I think we need to make a poll, a War Boy Studios poll of what is a better name until Bongino gets his shit together. Is he going to be Bonholio or Bongino?
He's going to be actually take over for a second. I got Rob to see if he's going to join us. I'm going to mute my mic really quick.
All right. Well, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, these are the important questions that we should be asking ourselves with the crisis that we're faced as Americans. While the left unites to push Drag Queen Story Hour, the right seems to be fighting one another left and right. And it's honestly, for me, it's starting to piss me off. I don't know about you. I think now you got Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson, from what I read, going at it. You know, you just recently had the fucking pussy fight between Elon and Trump, and that was bad timing and distasteful. So, you know, I think we're going to see some time. We're going to see some things ahead of the crabs in the bucket theory. You know, a lot of conservatives, you know, the midterms and primaries are indicative to what my point. We, the conservatives, have a historical notion of not showing up to the primaries and the midterms, while the Democrats will walk on broken glass, go through lakes of fire in a fucking hailstorm with pools of rubbing alcohol and razor blades to vote for whatever green-haired, multi-lipped ring, 17 cat owning with one litter box that they keep in the kitchen next to the fucking clean dishes that are never clean. They'll go vote for them that want to teach your kindergarten transgender studies. But conservatives, for some reason, don't show up to the primaries and the midterms. Ladies and gentlemen, Hakeem Jeffries very well could be this next Speaker of the House come these primaries. So, you know, this goes into that we really need to get united like these Democrats, and this bickering amongst each other. This shit's got to stop, because if we do not take these primaries and midterms, which we can do, or most likely we'll lose, but we can do them. We see November 5th, the Democrats will take over, and they'll start their fucking shenanigans and their shit show and their impeachment, and we'll have nobody to blame but ourselves.
So I caught the tail end of that. Are you talking about like the beefs that are happening on Twitter?
Yeah, man, the
which-
conservatives
perfect.
fighting
That's-
each other.
that's-
So stupid.
That's a segment that I'm trying to roll into right now.
I didn't know that. That's just good.
We got about 15 minutes because we got to sign off. Rob is going to be just for the audience, for you guys watching right now. Critical Mass with Patriot Rob starts at 2. It will be here on Twitter, and then Warpaint with Kim is going to be a Rumble exclusive. And it starts at 2:30. Both of them are going to be live shows. Rob runs a space. Do you call it spaces or space?
I think it's Spaces.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know what? Don't ask me because I haven't. The fuck do I know? I didn't even know what a gimbal was 48 hours
we
ago.
should start doing space. Like,
I think
just
so.
space
Very
only.
controversial ones, though.
yeah. I mean, that's worked out great in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just catch Rob now at 2:00. We're going to be closing the show. I want to talk about, we should start doing a segment on Twitter beefs because it's so interesting. I've been like glued to my phone the whole week, with people like battling each other and shit like that, which is, I like to look at it in different perspectives. Like we're not this like hive-minded group.
Mhm.
MAGA's not a hive-minded group. We all have our focuses. You know what I'm saying? And like I try to focus on the cultural issues most of the time. Like I'll jump back and forth. But some people have like direct focus, and like there's a lot of people that are anti-war. And I understand that, and the president's anti-war. And we talked about foreign policy. When was it? Yesterday?
Every day.
Yeah, every day this week. Foreign policy is very difficult. It's very complex. It's not binary. So it takes a little bit of nuance to kind of navigate through it. But like I've seen people tearing each other apart on Twitter recently, and I partaked in it yesterday. Specifically, look, I don't attack people unless I am attacked, right? That's like my number one rule. Like do I agree with like the Hodge twins, or do I agree with like Tucker Carlson on their views? I tell you, like 50% I do. But I think 100% of Trump supporters, the MAGA supporters, are anti-war and don't want to involve ourselves in these issues.
Yeah.
But like last night, and I'll pull up my Twitter feed. There's this guy called Liberal Tears Creator, right? And for the most part, like I've never fucked with this guy. I don't even know who he is. And one day I posted something. I forgot what it was, what this whole thing was about, right? And he came at me sideways. So I +1'd him, and then I started looking into this guy, and this guy is not a good dude. This guy's not a good dude at all. I'm pulling up the tweet right now. I'll have it up on the screen in a second. Let me bring it up. You got a screen in front of you. You're watching the feed?
I do, yes.
Okay, so he went at the Hodge twins, and basically, is this the Hodge twins? And he put the Crapstein brothers war view, and they're holding the president accountable for his words. Although I don't agree I don't think the president's a fucking war hawk. I do think that he's posturing. There has to be some posturing when it comes to these. They have to be afraid of repercussions, because the only way to be anti-war is to be like pro. I'm going to use this word as best as I could. Pro-violence.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be able to commit acts of violence. We went over this yesterday.
Kim put it perfect yesterday, I think, honestly.
Yeah. The crux of the American and any foreign policy for a major nation is their ability to commit acts of mass violence against perpetrators, right? So, like, it doesn't mean that you have to commit those acts. It means that you have to be able to use that leverage of being able to commit those acts to stop. Is Iran capable of creating a nuclear weapon? No, but are they enriching? There's two things could be true. I don't think they have the capability right now to fabricate and manufacture a nuclear weapon with a warhead on a warhead. But are they enriching uranium at levels way higher than it is for just public consumption, public energy consumption? That is true. And the president has not changed its position in years. Iran has to stop enriching uranium at those. So with the Hodge twins, they are being a little aggressive, and maybe the pressure campaign, might work. You get me? But this guy goes after any person that has an iota of criticism for certain things. And then we looked up this person, and as you can see here, it's Liberal Tier Creator. I'm going to click on this profile really quick. And then after that, we looked into this guy, and this guy is a funny record. His name is Nicholas Todd Crudge. And he was arrested, as you can see here. This is like a inmate number and things like that. And then what's funny is, I'm going to read this. Court records show he entered a guilty plea. He pled guilty on April 15th of 2011 to aggravated assault, one of several charges Altoona police filed against him for an incident in November 2010. That's when police said Crudge held his wife captive and tried to hang her in the basement. That's a new way.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I like hanging with women. I
So-
don't like hanging women.
Yeah. Yeah. Now where I come from, that's called like extreme domestic violence.
I mean, if you're trying to hang your wife, I think it goes beyond domestic violence.
No,
If you're
wait a
trying
minute. Was she like wet? Did she just get like out of the pool? Maybe he was like hanging her up to dry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Two
dude.
giant clothespins on the back of the shoulder blade meet right on the clothesline.
It gets better. though.
She's dry. Okay.
It gets a lot better.
I'm listening.
Other charges include attempted homicide were dropped in exchange for the guilty plea, right? And then when sentenced by Sullivan, which is the judge in 2017, he said he used a toy gun in the robbery. It's actually a water gun.
Wait, robbery. Why do I feel like we're skipping some steps here?
What do you mean?
There's a robbery.
Yeah, no, this guy's
So
he's a walking meme.
Wait a minute. Does this robbery tie into the wife hostage hanging? Is this a separate?
No, this is separate.
Separate. So there's
Yeah.
a robbery, then there's hanging the wife
Yeah.
captive in a basement. Like nothing.
Yeah. He pointed the gun, which is a water gun,
A water gun.
at the store clerk. And just in case you don't know, if you point a water gun at a store clerk, it doesn't make the charge go away. You still get a gun charge.
Yeah. The
Um,
clerk thought it was a gun. That's
yeah.
all it takes.
At a customer who entered the store and he threatened him. After receiving money, Crudge left the store and entered a getaway car driving by an accomplice. Prior to the trial, the prosecution offered Crudge a plea deal of 3 to 10 years, the same as a sentence imposed on the accomplice. He chose to go before a jury and was convicted of robbery and related offenses. But when Crudge appeared for sentencing, Alinsky informed the defense that he was seeking a 10-year mandatory minimum for Crudge. I always I've been fucking up that name because the defendant had a prior conviction for a crime of violence. So this guy was going after a couple of they're Trump supporters at the end. They are criticizing the president. Again, I don't agree with some of the criticisms, but they were going after them pretty nastily. And they went after Alex Rosen. Imagine going after the pedophile hunter, Alex Rosen.
Who did?
This guy, Crudge, right?
That says something to me. I don't care what your political views are. If you don't support a guy who's vehemently trying to track down fucking people that are preying on children,
Yeah.
and you could find
There was somebody,
fault.
and I don't know if it was him. There was somebody that questioned it, right? They're like, oh, how many pedophiles did he actually catch? Actually, more than
Lots.
multiple police departments at once. And we're
On
not even done
record.
with a year.
with receipts.
Yeah. And he does it in a comedic fashion.
Very comedic.
We had the pleasure of interviewing
Yes.
Alex.
Good guy.
here.
Good guy.
So he is a great dude. Do I agree with his criticisms of the president? Absolutely not. But will I tear up the MAGA coalition to do so? I won't do that.
It's counterproductive. It's against everything we stand for. I mean, and I think you've been here too, Enrique. There's people I genuinely do not like in the MAGA community. People I know personally that I like. There's some people in the J6 community that I do not like, but I'm not going to tear them down because it tears all of us down.
Yeah.
It makes all of us look bad. Now we can argue and fight in private.
Of course. And
But,
I do.
yeah.
do.
But I'm not gonna take my animosity out on you publicly
You
because
know-
there's too many other good people attached to you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Then, like there's 1,600 of us, and to think that we're all going to get along or all of us are perfect. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to touch the subject. I'm just going to just graze it. Just 2 days ago, I found out something about a J6er. A day ago, yesterday, I found out something about a J6er, and I'm like, look, I'm not going to support him anymore because I was supporting him for a long time. I was pushing his stuff, and I found out something that was extremely disturbing.
Oh,
And I'm not again.
I can't wait to
that's
have
not-
this conversation off of the air.
Yeah, and again, we're not. This isn't a quiet skies thing where we're trying to be quiet about it. It's just I don't do it. I don't trash the team. I don't punch right. The only way that you'll see me like trash another Trump supporter is if they come at me first. I will defend myself, and I will pull out the receipts like this guy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like he's coming. He trashed me. Now he's trashing people that are anti-war. Some people that aren't critical of the president are just anti-war, and somehow that becomes like anti-MAGA or whatever. But all I got to do is do some digging. My dirt's all in the air. You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it.
Right. I don't hide anything. I that's the way I like to look at myself. I'm undoxable. I wear everything. I'm an open book. My name, everything, my case is open. Find it, complain about it. I don't give a flying shit. I work for myself, and I live in Florida. So if you want to come to my house and threaten my family, I will defend my home front. Other than that, go fuck yourself. I don't.
So I think we're gonna conclude the show because we got 2 shows coming again, ladies and gentlemen, at 2:00. Critical Mass with Rob starts right here on Twitter. So mash that post notification button on the Warboy Studios account, and my account. I think he's gonna go live on my account too. And at 2:30, we have a very uncensored show from Kim with Warpaint at 2:30, Rumble exclusive. I'll also be posting that on the Warboy Studios. If you want to support me and get some cool ass fucking shirts like this Capitol Raiders shirt, which has how do you pronounce it? Chansley's
Jacob
face on
Chansley.
it with the fucking horns. Then go ahead and go to 1776.shop. Barry, any last words for the firing squad?
I will support your 1776.shop and say that if you really want a shirt to piss off every progressive liberal you come across, you get that Capitol Raiders shirt. I have one, and I just love wearing it in my Blue County and seeing the expression on the faces of the libs when they finally realize what it means. Oh my God. It's like a fresh cup of coffee, a reason to get up in the morning. I absolutely love it. I'll close out by saying, please go to my personal X page at The American Rise. You see it scrolling right there on the screen. Take a moment to follow me as we here at the Warboy Studio struggle to get our pages up there and get off the social media teat of Enrique Tarrio, which has been working out, bro. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Your show's doing better than mine.
That's half true
I'm going to
sometimes.
start firing. I'm going to start firing everybody that does better than me on my own network.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This will be the last news brief show for the week. Please join us here on Monday. We don't have a set time for this show. Sometimes we go at 11:30, but it's between 11:45 and 1 o'clock is when we go live on this show for about an hour, where we go review the news. If you guys got any stories that you'd like us to focus on, please shoot me a DM with those stories or any views. Please come on and comment, and we'll bring you on. And we'll start. I really want to start doing call-in shows, so we'll do that soon. But that concludes to this week's episode of News Brief with the Lords of War. Thank you, guys.
Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Prosecutor said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
And FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are